So today we are looking at the AnduinOS. So here is the boot menu. So this Linux distribution is based on customized Debian, and also the desktop environment you get is the GNOME desktop environment. So let me quickly boot it in the live boot, and I'm running it on the virtual machine, which is VMware with 60 GB of virtual disk, 8 GB of RAM, and my CPU is i5 1240p. So the booting process will take like a 2 or 3 minutes. Usually that much of time it's going to consume for every Linux distribution in my PC. But let me see how much of time it's going to consume. So I'm going to mention as soon as it shows the desktop layout. So I already tried this Linux distribution just for like a 5 or 10 minutes. Not even 10 minutes, it was like a 5 minutes. So it kind of looks like a Windows 11. So I'm going to go through all the information of this Linux distribution, but there will be some like difference in the user experience because I'm running it on the virtual machine. So you need to understand some common things. So it will be a bit having like a hiccups here and there, even if you have like a good hardware specs. So the virtual machines has some issues. When you try it on the bare metal, it should be a way better user experience, like it will be like a smooth experience, and also the RAM and CPU will be consuming a bit lesser in the bare metal when compared to the virtual machines. And also in the virtual machines there will be like a minor hiccups here and there. So I hope you understand these common things, and you'll watch the video throughout the video. So also I will be posting 2 videos daily without missing. So if you want to consider subscribing, you can subscribe. So let's wait for a few more seconds, maybe minutes, and I'm going to mention as soon as the desktop layout is loaded. So here is our welcome screen. So it took just like a 1.5 minutes to load up the desktop layout. As soon as I stopped talking, it just took like a 10 or 15 seconds. So this is the version we are using right now, which is AnduinOS 1.0.0. So I found it randomly on the DistroWatch review page. So here is the Linux distro. If you're a normal user, do your own research, and if you want to install this Linux distribution, you need to do your own research. But if you are a Linux tester or a distro hopper, you can try this Linux distribution. It's a new Linux distribution. I never made a video on this Linux distribution, so for a normal user, if you are asking whether to use this Linux distribution or not, I clearly don't know any of the information about this Linux distribution. So I found it like a few hours ago. So here is a video. So always do your own research, even if your favorite YouTuber does videos on that specific Linux distro. Don't blindly go and install anything on your PCs. Always do your own research and get all the information, and always try it in the live boot or in the virtual machines. After you're satisfied, then go with the installation, or else just try it in the live boot and try to get another Linux distributions. So here is our Linux distribution desktop layout. So before touching anything, even the display settings, I'm going to show you the system monitor. So it kind of looks like a Windows 11. So it has some same kind of wallpaper with same accent colors. So these are all the process running as soon as you boot up. So let's go to the resources. On the memory, it's consuming like a 1.1 GB. So you get the GNOME desktop environment as default. And when you go with the installation, I don't know, but I'm going to show you the installation also. I hope you only get the GNOME desktop environment, because most of the installer, so you just get the installer instead of offline. When you click on the installer, if you get the offline and online options, then in the online options you should be getting the other desktop environments, but I don't think it's going to have any other desktop environment. So I'm going to run like a 60 seconds of the system monitor to see whether the CPU has like a stable graph or not. So it's consuming like a 1.2 GB of RAM, and cache is like a 2.6 GB. So you need to always run like a 60 seconds or a minute to see whether the CPU is stable or not. In this case, the CPU is pretty much going stably. It's just in the beginning. So you just need to ignore in the beginning, because when you open the system monitor, that's the usual thing happen. So yeah, that's the reason I said always run like a 60 seconds to see whether the graph is stable or not. So in this case, it's pretty much stable, under 15%, 10% like that. So here is the file system. Let's check the version about the system monitor. You get the 42.0. So I'm going to keep the system monitor in the right side corner. Let's try to change the display settings. So let's go to the display settings. My monitor is 1920 into 1080 with a 60 Hz. So I'm going to change that to 16:9 ratio. So there is also a fractional scaling if you want. Let's keep changes. Let's put the system monitor in the right side corner. And let's check the about information. So device name AnduinOS. I'm running it on the VMware, which I already mentioned. Memory, it says 7.7 GB. I'm using 8 GB of RAM. Here is my CPU i5 1240p. Disk capacity, it says 64 GB, but I'm using 60 GB. OS name, already said, this is the version. And the OS type, 64-bit. GNOME version, you get the 42.9. So it's not the latest version of the GNOME, but it's okay. Windowing system, X11, virtualization VMware. So let's go to the browser and go to the official website. So there is no pre-installed INXI or NeoFetch. So I'm going to do it in the background so we can use it for later. So the version of the terminal is 42.beta. So let me type in INXI. So you need to install the INXI. So I'm going to copy and I'm going to paste it here so we can use it for later. So it's going to install the INXI. It's going to take a few seconds here. So let's go to the official website. Let me make it bigger so you can see everything properly. So as you can see, there is like a minor lag, hiccups here and there. So that's the reason I always mention in the beginning. So it should be having smooth experience in the bare metal. So don't just watch the video and blindly go with things that will there will be difference on your PC and my PC. About the system requirements, I don't have any idea because there is no system requirements information. But when you ask me, in order to run like almost every Linux distribution, like 70 to 80% of every Linux distribution, you need to have like a 2 GHz dual core processor or maybe more. About the RAM, you need to have at least a 4 GB of RAM, and about the hard disk, you need to have like a 30-40 GB of hard disk. And about the monitor, 1366 into 768. So if you have this type of hardware specs, you can run almost every Linux distributions. Or else if you have like a low-end PC, it's always a good option to go with the lightweight desktop environments, which can easily run without any lag or anything. So there are a lot of lightweight Linux distributions available in the Linux market. If you don't know anything, you can just watch my videos or watch any other channels. I don't have any issues. Or else you can search the Google or any search engine, do your own research. Or else you can search in the ChatGPT, Google Gemini and all those things. There are a lot of AI apps also. You can search everything on your own. You can do your research on your own. You don't need anyone. So the version you get is 129.0.2. So INXI is pre-installed. So I'm going to install the NeoFetch also. NeoFetch. Hit enter. So here you just need to copy the command, or else you can type in command if you want. So I'm going to install everything and we're going to work on that later. Let's click Y. So it's going to do its work in the background. So let me type in about support and hit. This will give us the browser information and also the distro information. So the browser name is Firefox. The version is 129.0.2. So the latest version available is 130. And also there is a beta version of 131. If you want, you can go in the Firefox web browser official website. So here is the build ID, distribution ID. It says canonical. So it said some information about the which is based on all those Linux distribution. I'm going to give you all the information. So let's continue with the video. So the user agent, here is the user agent. Let me close the terminal in the background. And the Linux kernel you get is a 6.8.0. So let's go to the Linux kernel website to see what official or the stable version right now is. So I saw in the yesterday video the version of the stable is 6.10.8. As you can see, this is the stable version, and this is the long-term version, and this is the RC6, which is release candidate 6 version, which is 6.11. So if you want some information of the kernels, you can go with the releases and get all the information. So the main thing we need is the version is stable version is 6.10.8. but we have the 6.8.0. So here is the version. Let me close that website, scroll it down. And about the operating system, you have the Fluent Round Dark or the Fluent Round. And here is the RAM, which I already mentioned. Disk space available is 3.6 GB. So when you scroll it down, you should be also seeing about some browser information like a picture in picture and all those things. So just pause the video and read everything, because I'm not going to go through all those things because it's going to make a video lengthy. Here is some other information. When you scroll it down, you should be also seeing the desktop environment, Ubuntu GNOME. And here is the monitor resolution. So let me scroll it down. So here is the monitor resolution, here is the driver vendor, driver version and all those things. So here are some other important information. If you consider it as important, just pause the video and read everything. So let's go to the official website now. Type in AnduinOS like this. So here is the official website, or else you can just type in like AnduinOS.com and it will take you directly to the official website. So here is the information. AnduinOS 1.0. This is the version 1.0 we are right now using, released on 2024-09-01. And AnduinOS is a custom Debian-based Linux distribution that aims to facilitate users and transitioning from Windows to Ubuntu by maintaining familiar optional habits and workflow. So I'm reading a bit slowly because I'm way far from the monitor, so that's the reason. So here you can get all the other information like a ready to use. The OS size is just 1.7 GB in size. So I'm going to show you somehow, but they already mentioned here. Friendly interface, GNOME-based desktop environment, root and privacy, regular updates, open source, ecological perfection. So here is complete information. You can just read it from here, or else you can go to the website and get all the information. So with AnduinOS you can do more, like a browsing, which is available in every operating system, in every Linux distribution, so just ignore it. Gaming, you get the Steam. Build, work, you can do work from every Linux distro. Serve and editing also can be done in every Linux distribution. So what users are saying, so here is the some users saying things. So never go with the someone said anything here. Always go with on your own experience. Try it on your own and decide on your own. So here is complete information and historical versions. So you get the beta versions and all the versions here. And about the download, it will take directly to the downloads. So here is the ISO English, United States. So here are all the other languages you can try. So when you go to the index of the downloading files, so this is the version I downloaded, or the latest version. When you click it on the file, so it automatically starts the download. So it's 1.6 GB, around 1.7 GB of ISO file. So this is the ISO file. So I'm using a VPN also, so it will be a bit slow. So we got all the information from the browser. So I'm just going to open the terminal and I'm going to type in some commands to get some browser information. So the animation and also about the look, it's fantastic. It's kind of looks like a Windows 11. People who loves the Windows 11 can go with the Windows 11. So I don't have any favorite operating systems. I am just going to work with whatever the operating system I have. So there is no favorite or anything like that for me. So about the console, you get the 42-point beta. So let me try to change the color so we can see everything properly. So I'm going to try the NeoFetch. Hit enter. Operating system, it says AnduinOS 1.0.0, kernel version which I already mentioned. Uptime is 14 minutes. Packages are 1553 dpkg. Shell bash version is 5.1.16. Resolution is 1920x1080. Desktop environment you get is a 42.9. The Mutter, themes, terminal, my CPU which I already mentioned, the RAM. So let me type in INXI-SV8. So keep an eye on the CPU and RAM. So right now it's consuming like a 1.5 1.6 GB of RAM, and also CPU is under 20-25%. So when you try it on the bare metal, it will be a bit lesser, so it will be like a 400-500 MB maximum difference, and also CPU will be like a 7-8% difference. So you should be seeing this much of difference. You don't see a major difference when you install it on the bare metal. You don't see like a almost like a 700 MB 800 MB of difference. You just see like a 400-500 MB maximum. So you can, and also the experience of using, or the user experience will be way better. There will be like a smooth transitions, and also everything will be smooth when you try it on the bare metal. So that will be some difference on the virtual machines and also on the bare metal. So let's go through all the other information. So distro information, kernel information which I already mentioned, 64-bit, compiler not available, GNOME version which I already mentioned, GTK version 3.24.33, GDM3 version 42.0. So distro is AnduinOS 1.0.0 Jammy Jellyfish. So here is the machine. So when you scroll it down, you should be also seeing some memory information, CPU information, and all vulnerabilities. So I'm just going to ignore those things because it's not important in the video. So on the graphics side, you should be seeing VMWGFX version is 2.20.0, and display X11 which I already mentioned, server Xarch version 1.21.1.4. and here is some other information, screen 1920x1080, and here are some other information, and OpenGL version. So here is the LLVM version 4.3, Mesa 23.2.1, and let's go to the audio information and audio part. So here is the ELSA version, Pulse Audio version is 15.99.1, Pipewire version is 0.3.48. So when you scroll it down, you should be also seeing the network, Bluetooth, drives, partitions, swap, USB, and all those things. So it's clearly not important for the video, so I'm just going to scroll it down. If you want anything, you can just pause the video and read everything here. Here are the repos, and here is the process. So INXI version is 3.3.13, Shell Bash version which I already mentioned, systemd version 249 in it, and wake-ups 149, uptime is almost 15 minutes, process are 298, and we got all the information here. So let me type in cat /etc/issue. So it says AnduinOS 1.0.0. So we got all the information. Just type in like a INXI-SV8, you should be getting all the information. So if you want some short answer, same like the INXI-SV8, just type in like a INXI. So you should be getting same information, INXI-small b. So these are all the same things, but you should be getting the specific answers here. INXI-capital F, INXI-capital G. So we got all the information of the distro. Here is the desktop. So we got complete information. I'm going to close everything here. So on the application menu, these are all the applications you get. So let me open all apps. So you get plenty of applications available here. So pre-installed applications are right here. There is no bloatware or anything. You just get the basic applications which is available in every Linux distribution. So there is also no bloatware, so that's a good thing. And also user experience is pretty much good. So here is the application store information. You can do all the information by watching these things. You can install, you can go to skills, application, servicing, virtualization. You can go through all those things. So I'm just going to close everything. So here is the app store. So I'm going to double click. So it's going to pop up like this and give you all the information. So I'm going to click on the install. So we get the Calamares installer, I guess. So let's wait. So the loading symbol or the loading for the mouse is kinda like Windows only. So the color things is also like a Windows. So people who love the Windows can try this Linux distribution. So if you're a normal user, do your own research if you want to install it. If you're a distro hopper or a Linux tester, here is another Linux distribution for you. So you can try this Linux distribution. So here we have the installer. So it's a normal installer. So you get the language selection here. Same thing in every Linux distribution. So there is nothing complicated here. Click continue. So the installer took a very long time to open the application. So keyboard layout, here is the keyboard layout. Choose your language, choose your variant. You can even test your keyboard layout here. Detect the keyboard layout. Continue. And here are the updates and other software. You can install the updates here if you want, like a third-party software for graphics, Wi-Fi and additional media formats. If you want, you can do that. Click continue. It's going to say preparing Ubuntu drivers. It's going to take like a 30 to 40 seconds commonly. So here is our desktop features. So theme, light theme or a dark theme. So right now we are using the dark theme. So here is our light theme. So it's kind of looks good in the light theme. For me, I don't know how it's going to look for you. And here are some other things like Wi-Fi or the wired connections, proxy, the power options, settings, logout power options here. So here is the date and time. So it's customized pretty much well. So installation type, if you want the single installation or the single operating system, you can go with the erase disk, or else you can go with the something else. You can create a partition before installing, and you can install it on that specific partition, and you can use it as a dual boot options. And here is the single boot options. Here are the advanced features. If you don't know how to install the Linux distributions, you just need to watch some tutorials of the Ubuntu Linux distribution, because it's kinda Ubuntu installer. So not the latest installer, it's kinda like a older installer, or else you can watch the Linux Mint videos. You can get the installation. So if you are a new Linux user, you need to watch installation. If you want to install, you can watch the tutorials in the YouTube, which will be a bit lengthy, like not a very lengthy. It will be like a 2 or 3 minutes videos. I already have like a installation tutorials, but I never installed specific. I never made a video of specific installation tutorials. So that's the reason it's better to watch some others videos. And also my videos will be a bit lengthy, like a 20-25 minutes lengthy, because I will be covering everything in that specific video. And also I never made a installation tutorial videos, just the specific tutorials video. So that's the reason I'm mentioning like that. So that was the installation process. When you click on install, you need to create a user account, like you need to provide username, password and all those things. So it's pretty much simple. So there is nothing complicated here. And also installation will take like a 20 to 25 minutes. So it depends on your PC. If you have like a high-end PC, you should be good with like a 5-10 minutes. It's going to take that much of time. If you have like a low-end PC, you should be consuming a bit more there. And also if it's a stable ISO file, the installation will complete without any issues, 99% of the cases. But when you download the beta versions, there will be some issues like a not responding, installation may fail, and also screen will be going blank, and all those things happen. So it's always a better option. If you're a normal user, always download the stable ISO files. So if you're a Linux tester or a distro hopper, you know already what happens on the beta version. So I'm just going to skip all those things. So here is our weather app. You can do customization if you want. Here, go to settings and do all those things. So let's check the other things. So here is our weather app. Locations, layout, temperature and all those things. Here is the layout. So I'm going to close everything. Let's check some desktop backgrounds. So you get the GNOME desktop environment, network options, Bluetooth options. Here is our backgrounds. So you basically get two wallpapers, which is a light one and a dark one. So you don't get any much bunch of wallpapers here. You can add your wallpapers if you want. Here is the appearance, notification, Here is the search, multitasking, applications, the privacy. Always turn off all those location service and the camera and all the microphones and all those things. Always turn on when you are using and always turn off when you are not using, because it's good practice to stay safe. Here is the online accounts. Here is the sharing, the sound option, customize according to your wish. I'm not going to touch anything because I want to keep everything as default and show you everything. So you can change the screen blank to never, or else you can keep it whatever you want. Here is the display already mentioned, and also mouse and touchpad. You can customize according to your wish. If you want, you can test your settings. So it's basically GNOME desktop environment, so you know how to customize all those things. Here is the printers, removable media, the colors, region and language you can change according to your wish, accessibility. Here is the user, default application. If you have multiple applications, you can choose whatever you want. So in this case, we just have a Firefox web browser. If we had like a Google Chrome or anything, you can switch according to your wish, but I don't think Chrome going to be switched to, instead of Firefox. Most of the people use the Firefox or different browsers, because Chrome will be consuming a lot of resources. Even if you have like a 64 GB, it's going to consume a lot of RAM. So here is the date and time, about, which I already mentioned. So we pretty much covered everything. So I'm going to open a bunch of applications to see how much of resources it's going to consume, whether it's good for daily use or not. So I'm going to open a bunch of applications here. So we don't have a lot of resource consuming applications. So we are going to open whatever the applications are available. So we need like a Blender, Krita, GIMP and all those resource consuming applications like Kdenlive and all those things. So we can see whether this distro will handle the stress test or not. But in this case, we don't have any large or the more resource consuming applications. So I'm going to open the applications whatever they are available right here. So when we switch the applications or when we open the applications, if we see like a not responding or any bug fixes, bugs and all those things, like a completely screen may be going frozen or the mouse pointer may be not working. So if we see any type of those issues, we can just assume that this Linux distribution is like having some issues. But most of the cases in the virtual machines and also bare metal, you need to try it on your own and decide whether this distribution is suitable for you or not. Because in some PCs there will be some issues, so you just need to judge by looking at everything and decide whether to use it or not. Don't just go with the stress test and some basic things. So you need to judge whether the ISO file is stable or not, and how much of resources it's consuming, and it has support or not, and the kernel versions, which is as the latest version or not, and also the desktop environments. You need to consider all those things and judge whether to use this Linux distribution or not. So that will be a good idea to do the judging in that case. So we already opened a few applications. Let's try to switch the applications. So as you can see, everything is opening instantly, no issues. So that's a good work. And about the CPU resources and RAM resources, it's consuming 2.4 GB of RAM, cache is 4 GB, CPU is pretty much under 20%. So in the bare metal, it's going to be performing better, I think. In the virtual machine, it's performing very well. Just a minor hiccups here and there, so it's going to be performing very well. So get all the information, and if you're satisfied, then install it on your main PC or work PC, or else just skip this Linux distribution and go with the well-known Linux distributions. So that was my thoughts on this Linux distributions. So it kind of looks like a Windows 11. So if you're a Windows lover, you can go with this, try this Linux distributions. It has a live boot, so that's a good option. So let's check applications here. So you can add the startup applications, or you can remove it, you can edit it. Let's close it. So here is the extension settings. You can customize according to your wish. Go to settings and change according to your wish here. The menu button, about. So you already know about the extensions, so I'm just going to show you the information. 42.9. Let's close it. Here is your file manager. Let's check the version. You get the 42.6. You can customize according to your wish. Go to the preference, change according to your wish, customize according to your wish. I'm going to just close it. The browser. So at the end of the video, these are all the resources. Ignore the CPU high graph because when we open a lot of applications at once, so it's going to have some high peaks here and there. And after closing and waiting for a few seconds, the graph will be stable again if we had the stable ISO file. And if we didn't have any issues with the Linux distro, then the CPU will be pretty much stable. And about the RAM, it went back to 1.9 GB. So these are all the processes running right now. So this is how it performed in my PC or in the virtual machines. So if you want to try it, do try it. It is looking properly and it has no issues in my point of view and in my PC. So always do a research if you are trying it on the main PC or work PC. But if you want to try it in the live boot or virtual machines, give it a try. It's a new Linux distribution. So I'm just going to close everything and I'm going to show you the logout screen and I'm going to end the video. Let's go to the logout. So the look wise, it's pretty much awesome. Is pretty much done very well. So about the origin, I don't know where it comes or I don't know where it is made. So there is no more information. You just need to go to the official website and get all the information. So here is the logout screen. So I think when you type in AnduinOS, it's going to log you in automatically. So that was the video, and I will be posting 2 videos daily. So I'm going to post another video as soon as this video is released. Like there will be like a 1 hour 2 hours difference, and it's better to turn on your notifications. And if you want to subscribe, you can subscribe because I'll be posting 2 videos as soon as the new Linux distro is available. I'm going to post it. So if you want to subscribe, you can subscribe. Thanks for watching. Peace out.